welcome to Down South Football Podcast, coming to you live, man. It's been about 3 weeks since we came and done the show, fellas.
Yeah, been a couple weeks.
But man, we sorry about that, man. We probably not to leave y'all that long ever again. But this is your boy Renard Williams, of course, in the building. We got Mr. Ben Dennis at I Am DJ Double Dose and at Mr. David Gardner at DL Gardner 205. Fellas, what's going on with y'all tonight, man?
What up with you, man? Catching up on some of these hoops, you know. You know what time it is, man.
I'm just glad to be back, man. It's been too long, man. It's been too long.
It's been too long, man. I hope they ain't forgot us for real. But we want to talk about, and we can get into it in just a couple of seconds. But we got a few topics for y'all tonight. As y'all seen, we definitely want to talk about the HBCU season. Want to talk about Les Miles and Rush Probst, who seem to go hand in hand these days.
Les, the hat. You want to be? Hey, Les. We would more than gladly take you on as an analyst. You know what I'm saying? Just be in the background just as an analyst, Les. Come on,
bro. You're wrong, man.
Come on, Les. I'm just saying.
You're wrong for that, man.
We ain't gonna put him on the field. You know what I'm saying? We just be an analyst. Come on, man.
Aaron, what's up, man? Glad you made it in, dog. Good, it's good for us to be back, man. We didn't mean to be gone for this long, but hey, you know, stuff happens, apart. But we here tonight, man. Talk about the HBCUs, talk about this other stuff. But anybody else got anything going on? Anything else y'all want to talk about for a second before we get into it?
Nah, man. Let's hit it, man.
Hey, man, look who done dropped in already.
What up, D? What's going on with you?
Yeah, man.
What's up, Mr. Jocks 94.5? What's happening, nephew? You know what I'm saying? What? Oh.
Hey. You remember what happened, Aaron? Jimbo told him to go back in the locker room and take that uniform. That was the funniest shit.
Hey man, I ain't in it. I'm gonna be quiet. So first thing we want to talk about, we're gonna talk about the game. What's up, Sean? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. We're gonna talk about the game, but the first game is gonna be, of course, we're gonna talk about Jackson State. But before we get into the game, we haven't even been on since the incident, since their first game, to where Deion, of course, you know, everybody know Coach Deion Sanders down there at Jackson State. Mm-hmm. What was y'all reaction? And then we'll get into this read. What was y'all reaction when Deion first got up there and they were talking about his stuff that got stolen for the second time?
I just was like, man, Deion, just handle it in house, man. Just handle it in house. I mean, because at the end of the day, going to the media, there was nothing that was going to be accomplished, you know, from going to the media like that. You know, the people down there had your back. They was gonna figure out what happened. It wasn't no need and putting it out there, because then it ended up making it look like a bad look, and you had to. It just was a lot that could have just been handled internally. To me,
right. I'm with you on that, Dave. What about you?
From my standpoint, man, it seems like I don't think he really thought about it. I think he acted in the moment. You know, I think he was pissed off, and you know, Deion, he is an emotional person anyway, as far as his reactions and actions. So, you know, I think he just kind of flew off the handle, and then, you know, just kind of, you just got frustrated. I mean, that was the second time that we know of that something like that happened, and just so happened, you know, cameras was in his face. So I think if he had to do it over again, he probably would have handled it a different way. Especially based off of how they say his belongings were retrieved. I'll just put it that way. So
the same as the first time.
Got emotional, man, and cameras just happened to catch it. Yeah. Well, you know, they said somebody misplaced it or something. No, they said it was misplaced. They didn't say it was stolen. They said that they had moved his stuff because they just kind of left it out, so to speak. So, but who knows? But, you know, I think if he had to do it all over again, he would do it differently.
Well, I mean, that's definitely, you know, what I kind of gather from it. You know, it's just like, I think Deion is still getting used to life in Jackson. And, you know, no disrespect to Jackson, but Jackson State is a great school. But
Jacktown for a reason.
But bro, well, you ain't on the best side of town. You still got people that's gonna be there. You still got people that don't want to take y'all out, gonna take you out. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my reaction to that. But I think it's been great for him to be there talking about the HBCUs. But let's talk about a little bit about this game this past weekend. Man, I don't know how many of y'all caught this game, but you had Jackson State 33, Grambling 28. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Grambling should have won that game. It should have won the game. I'm happy for Dion to pull it out. But I'm gonna tell y'all right now, if you're not watching these athletes over here in this SWAC, I don't know what you're missing. Because let me tell you something. Number 40, Keontae Hampton and Aubrey Miller playing linebacker from Jackson State. Doing some dogs. Aubrey Miller had 10 solo tackles and 8 assists. He had 18 total tackles. And I think Hampton had 13 total, Dave, or something like that?
It was like 30. It was double digits, definitely.
The wide receiver, man, that they got was a really good dude. Number 6. He can fly. They got some athletes across the field, and please remember that a lot of those guys that transferred in are not eligible for this spring season, right? And they will be eligible for the fall, right? But I think the thing that Dave wants to talk about, I know he wants to talk about the fumbles, so I'm gonna let him talk about what happened with those fumbles.
Man, first of all, I think what we saw is a possible, it could be a possible championship, championship matchup with Jackson State and Grambling as well. I think it might be a little glimpse in the future, but it was crazy. Jackson State had a chance to put the game away. They were up 33-28. Went down, running back as he getting ready to go across the goal line, he fumbles the ball.
Right.
Grambling recovers, get the ball on the 20. They drive the ball all the way down to about 75-yard drive. Their running back do the exact same thing. Fumble the doggone ball. Dion win. So it was a great game, man. I'm talking about.
It was a great game.
It was some hitting going on, Doc. It was hitting going on. You had what, one kid? I think he was a freshman for Jackson State. The safety, he got kicked out for targeting. Bro, they were bringing it, man. I enjoyed it.
Good old targeting showed its ugly head yet again.
And I'm gonna tell you, man, if you haven't watched them, man, please understand they're not a finished product. And one thing that a lot of people don't know, is a lot of the players that Dion got even before he got there. Like the quarterback is Jaylen Jones. If you a Florida Gator fan, you know who Jaylen Jones is. Now, make it so bad, we talked about him on the show before. We talked about the kid, unfortunately, that he enrolled in January of 2019 for start spring practice, and then come to find out he didn't even make it through the spring, right, Dave? I think he was gone before the spring even came around.
He right. I think he did. He played in the spring game because they say he's played sparingly. As soon as the spring game was on, he did. I mean, I think he went to the locker room, took his equipment off, and got in the car and went to the house. I think that.
I'm out of here. You know what, Dopey Dan? I'm dipping. I'm heading out.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's. I mean, you got some guys on there that are some former D1s because the guy, the linebacker, Aubrey, he was at Missouri for 3 years. You know, this ain't just like Dion just got some zero talent out there. You know, he's got some talent to work with, and he's got more talent. He's got more talent to come. Now, Grambling quarterback, his name slips my mind right now. I can't remember the name because it's a very weird name. But I mean, he was balling. He was doing his thing. But I just think, man, the product on the field is
Germany Higginbottom.
There we go, Higginbottom. That's his name.
Higginbottom. I'm sorry, not Higgin. Higginbottom. There you go.
I knew it was something like that. But I mean, he was just he seems to be having good control of the offense. They had seemed to be moving the ball, man. You know, like I enjoyed it. I tried to watch some of the game, but I definitely went back and watched it post and see it, man. It was some good football. It might not be the football you all are accustomed to, but hey, it was still some good football. There was some good hitting going on out there and some good explosive offense. So 33-28, that was a good one. And I cannot for the A&M Bulldog on the program. He ain't finna get me. We gotta talk about them A&M Bulldogs.
No, we ain't talking about Philly.
You know who we talking about.
Don't look for the Laker banner either. We ain't talking about that one either.
Hey, the A&M flag up there is up front.
So you should have shifted your whole operation, because see that's
that what you get. Y'all went down and beat them boys. Y'all didn't have to beat them boys like that, man. 31-7. A&M pulled it out, dog. Is it Aqeel, right? Aqeel Glass. The quarterback, man. Tall, big dude, kind of like a big Cam Newton, 6'5" guy out there, man, doing it. He didn't play well in the first half. He did have 3 interceptions, but he did have 4 touchdowns. The best thing about it, they didn't do anything with the other 3 interceptions, man. And looking at today's HBCU poll, a lot of the coaches poll has A&M as the number 1 team in HBCU. You know, of course, we know that a couple of other conferences are not really playing or not playing fully. But A&M number 1 and got Jackson State 2, and I think it flips with the coaches. I think the coaches got Jackson State 1 and A&M 2. So, you know, Dave, do y'all play them this fall? I mean, not this fall. Do y'all play them this year, this spring?
Of course we do.
Okay.
Home or away?
You know, they're on the same side. They're on the same side of the conference.
Oh, okay. Well, we definitely gonna be looking forward to that one, man. But the thing with Deion, man, I really think, regardless how you feel about it, you can't say that it's not bringing positivity to the HBCU community. And really, if you haven't been watching the ball, man, the ball has been pretty good for years. A lot of kids come out of here. You get a lot of people that you know from your favorite Power 5 school transfer to these schools and end up going on and having great careers. But in that same thing, want to talk about the actual facility that Deion is building, where that Deion is helping contribute to raise the money for. They're looking at, you know, redoing, getting rid of the track. He got some renderings of that. He's looking forward to possibly doing some stuff with the grass for the stadium. Now his vision is to want a new stadium. That's his vision, man.
He said that from the jump.
Yeah, he wants that, man. I just think it's a great positivity thing that's happening right down there at Jackson State, man. And I think a lot with the HBC putting a spotlight on HBCU in general. But Dave, I just got to get you for prediction now. Is A&M gonna beat Jackson State when they play?
As a matter of fact, it's April 10th, so we don't have a real long time to wait on that game.
Right.
Ask me that in about 2 weeks. Let me see. I'm really ask me that in about 2 weeks. I'm intrigued to see. I want to see Jackson State versus Alabama State. I want to see that. I think we got that week. Was that week after next? I think you got not this weekend, but next weekend.
Next weekend, you got Jackson State and Alabama State next weekend in Montgomery. Yes.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad road trip either. But
yeah, and you got Grambling. Look like you're gonna have a bye in between. I about to say, look like you got Grambling on the 27th, and then you got a bye, and then you got JSU,
and then Jackson.
Yeah.
Let me see Bama State, Jackson State, Grambling, A&M, and then I'll be able to give you the prediction.
Okay. I can deal with that. I can deal with that. But yeah, this weekend we only got Mississippi Valley State and Jackson State.
Oh, Tuck talking. Hold on. No, Tuck talking big. Tuck said 42-10 A&M over Prime U.
We don't answer people that's supposed to be on the show and they can be in the comments.
Oh, my bad. Oh, you know what? My bad. You know what? My bad. That is my bad. That is my bad.
Look at Sean. Sean said I can say
we're not going to answer those people.
Sean, I definitely stop through, man.
But the disrespect that Tuck is doing, that just ain't right.
He all right. He on the road.
Yeah, he what up? Pat said ASU QB will play in the NFL.
You know, I watched the QB. I think he's real young. I want to say he might be a freshman, sophomore, no more than a sophomore. He's decent.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you never know. You don't know I just have to watch him and see how he develop. But I mean, he's young, he's getting experience. So you should be able to see a difference from him in the spring to the fall. So let's see.
I got you. Well, every week, man, we're gonna come in and make sure that we cover the HBCUs and hopefully get some more guests on. We had a couple people that are lined up to come, but they couldn't make it in today. But we're gonna keep that going with that, man, because they deserve as much coverage as anybody else. If we, that's what we got to do. We got to make sure we promote these kids. The kids out there playing. And for all y'all Birmingham people, go to the Classic. Please go to the Classic. That's all I can ask for you. I know it's bad. Go to the Classic.
Good luck with that, sir. Good luck with that, sir. Good luck with that.
I know.
Good luck with that, because you already know what we normally do for that. And going inside is not part of it.
Right. I'm with you on that, man. I'm with you on that. The next thing we're gonna do, Dave had to drop out for a second. The next thing we want to talk about, man, is should the HBCUs move to the spring?
No. Because the reason why I say a strong no is because the NFL is not going to change the NFL has already shown you and told you they're not changing how they do things. So if you do that, for the guys that's freshmen and sophomores, okay, cool, y'all can play, whenever. But when you got guys that need to be looked at and trying to get drafted, on top of the health issue, if you're talking about playing a full season in the spring, and then you expect this guy to possibly get drafted and then immediately report the OTAs and have to be ready for the season, the NFL season in September, that's putting a lot on the kid's body. I know they 21, 22 years old, but it's a reason why they recover from December to March, and then they practice for like 15, 16 practices, and then they don't play again until September. You need that body to recover. I don't think that from a health standpoint, that would be the best thing for the players to do.
And Dave, what we were talking about, there's a question out there is about should the HBCUs move to the spring? My answer has been no. And I've read all the arguments with people saying like it's more exposure, but to me, if you want these kids to be on the same playing level field, like Ben was saying, the NFL is not changing what they do.
Nope. For nobody.
Now I guess if I say spring, could they start like late December, maybe? You know what I'm saying, or something like that. But I'm not for the spring. What's your thoughts on spring FCS HBCU football?
Actually, man, I'm enjoying myself right now. I'm able to catch games and watch games that I normally wouldn't be able to. Not because I wouldn't want to watch them. It's just that the fact of the matter is it's too much football. I'm all over the place on Sunday. I'm on Saturdays in the fall. Now I've had a chance to watch an Austin P, Tennessee State. I've watched a Sanford, Jacksonville State, Tennessee Martin. That's just naming a few. I mean, I've been watching games all across the country wherever they're playing at. And that I think is due to it being in the springtime or this part of the year. Now, Ben makes a great point about the NFL. Hey, they do their thing. You got your combines, you got your pro days and things of that nature. Then you got your camp. So that's a great point. My only rebuttal to that would be that, hey, how many of these guys are getting invited to the combine from the FCS and HBCU division? I mean, it's only about 1% of kids that actually get that grown men, I should say, get that NFL opportunity. So, you have your pro. Everybody you see on there's a lot of them that get invited to the combine, but I don't think it's enough to say that, okay, we don't want to. I mean, I don't think it's enough to really affect the whole scheme of things. I mean, on a college team, on average of a FCS or a D2, or HBCU, how many of those kids gonna actually get an NFL combine invite?
Well, if you look at the combine, it's not as uneven as you think, especially when you add in the FCS part. My concern about that is that I don't want to take this too culturally or racially, but I just don't want those kids to be left out. Why they
too? I ain't want to go there, but that too.
Well, my thing, when you say left out, what do you mean?
What I mean by that is that if you have your combine in February and you're still playing games, and then you have your pro days in March, and you still having your draft in April, we're not talking about a Justin Fields playing in the spring where everybody kind of already know. Even with some of those kids that are All-Americans working good, my thing is that's why Deion was trying to do the whole HBCU pro day combine separate from what they were doing, separate from what the NFL was doing, so that they could actually continue to get more exposure to more kids to actually get in front of them. I guess, I mean, they'll go anywhere. I know the NFL will go anywhere. I'm just not 100% sold of them doing it in the spring. Now, for exposure-wise, money-wise, it might be more pros than cons. But I would like for them to make sure that there was a way that they will work with the NFL, since they're not going to change their schedule, to make sure that these kids are getting their exposure.
Here's my thing: the reason Deion was gonna want to do the HBCU combine was for the simple fact that it's not enough kids from HBCUs being invited to the NFL combine. That's number one. You had Muhammad from Alcorn last year. That's just one linebacker, went to Parker High School. He was supposed to get to the combine. Of course, COVID killed that. It killed the NFL combine, of course, and they definitely killed the HBCU combine. So I guess my thing is this. I believe now NFL is saying that they won't redo that thing. But here's the thing. We've seen after 2020, can't nobody tell me what they won't do. The adjustments, what I'm saying, people make and adjustment things, being made. But I mean, I don't know. I think it'll be different. But to answer your question, am I a fan of it? I would say yes. Number one, I think it gives them much exposure. As far as the NFL goes, I mean, hey, if you that type of caliber kid, then hey, I think you know that before you coming into the season in the fall. And my third point would be exposure. You're getting TV. When the Jackson State ever been on ESPN2, they would never get that opportunity in the fall. So that's just my opinion. But hey, let's see where it goes.
Well, I mean, if we remove, like you said, if we remove the NFL aspect out of it, I'm with you 110%, because like you said, right now, the spotlight is truly on them. Like even Sunday, them moving that game to ESPN2 on Sunday at 2:00. Best believe everybody that somewhat loves football, their TV gonna be turned to ESPN2 watching that game Sunday at 2:00. I mean, it may be an NBA game on, but we know how the NBA season is long and drawn out. So from that standpoint, you're correct. I mean, but it's just that I guess, that whole health thing. But again, they got a way. It's kind of like what you were saying. Either we're gonna accommodate the 50 that may get drafted, or we're gonna accommodate the 700-800. You know what I'm saying? That's playing.
Right, and you look at it like this. Let's just say if a Najee Harris was playing at Alabama A&M, he's a draft prospect. Because he is Najee Harris didn't get drafted off of what he did last year. I mean, Najee Harris, he could have not played, and he's still going to get drafted. So I think once you're that guy, I think you're that guy. Don't let me be, I don't want to be, misconceived here, but you can have a season and get on the board and jump out there on the spotlight. I guess what I'm saying, the guys that get drafted early in those rounds, I think they've
been recognized already.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Right. I got you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my thing, I'm not even talking about drafted. I guess I'm talking about the exposure from scouts because, and when the kids that get invited, the free agents, because a lot of teams invite unrestricted free agents, and you might get undrafted free agents. Well, you might get cut from 2 or 3 teams and bounce around and get picked up. Also, people still play in Canada. People still play everywhere. As long as we can make sure that part for us, because we already have a big disadvantage, whether we want to believe it or not. But the part that we're talking about, I think you're right. But I think it's something we could work out. But if it's for the best for the kids and best for the school, I'm down with it. I'm cool with it either way it go. Whatever's gonna be best for these kids and for these schools to move forward, to put them on a better playing field, then I'm 100% good with that. Talking about what is he talking about?
It's a whole conversation we got going on with Aaron on the side.
Okay. I don't need. Yes, I agree with you, Tuck, about them making the HBCU channel. If more and more exposure comes from it, I think we'll be good with it. The biggest thing with it is just that we making sure, like David said, he's enjoying the football. You get to know these kids better, and you get a better exposure off of it. So I'm cool with that part of it. We'll come back to the HBCU conversation and the FCS and all that kind of good stuff. Make sure y'all watching if you can. Please tune in,
especially Sunday.
Let's
make them numbers jump.
Let's move back to D1 for a minute.
Which way we going?
Let's talk about there are 2 peas in one pod right now. That'll be Les Miles.
Go ahead.
Les Miles, and let's talk about Rush Post also. I'm gonna start with old Les first because Rush. I think Rush gonna be one of the last things we're gonna talk about because that's a deep topic.
We can ride that out.
So, because I think I'm gonna make somebody mad tonight by what I got to say about that. So Les Miles has been relieved of his duties at Kansas. And so today, and AD, his good old buddy, old Jeff Long, he's been relieved of his duty also. All this stems back to some stuff that happened at LSU. I don't know if I can even say the words exactly what happened. Let's just say everything went clean down there on the bayou. I'm not gonna say everything I want to say. Y'all got Google. Y'all can look it up and see. How did y'all feel about the fact that there is a possible sexual assault, possible things that they're saying was covered up and that LSU knew about it, that Jeff Long even knew about it? I would like to get your thoughts on that subject, Mr. Benjamin.
I mean, they've been bubbling with this sexual assault stuff for a little minute, man. Like, you got to go back to Geis, and I mean, it's been a lot of stuff that's been bubbling. It's a lot of things that have been coming out, like you said, about cover-ups, and you hear the stories and then they go away. You hear the stories and then they go away. And then it's just like, even with Coach O, even though his situation wasn't necessarily bad. I mean, he's divorced, but morally it looked at it being wrong. So they've been having a lot of issues going on down there in the boot. So nothing ever surprises me when it comes to stuff like this, because let's just, we're all men, and let's just be honest. When you're talking about females that are 18, 19, 20 years old, and you're the millionaire on the campus.
What are you trying to say, Benjamin?
All I'm saying is none of this should ever surprise us, because when you're the main focus of said university and you're one of the millionaires on said campus, I mean, things are going to come your way, and it's going to be hard for some people to ignore those things that come their way.
100%. But Dave, do you feel like, and this, I'm not picking on LSU, I'm just asking the question, do you feel like this is more of the norm around Power 5 football?
more than
because what I was listening to, there were some people that had said, you know, there's a lot of coaches that are shaking in their boots because of, you know, things being exposed like that. And I ain't talking about Rush right now. I'm just talking about the stuff with LSU and how stuff never ever dies. That was 8 years ago. And this man that lost his job. Both of them lost their job. I ain't crying no spilled milk over them. But what's your thoughts on the situation?
Where there's smoke, there's fire, gentlemen.
There's been a lot of smoke.
A lot of smoke. I mean, have we ever seen this type of allegations turn out good? Outside
of the Duke situation,
well, they go away. They get brushed away.
You know, you had a situation down at Baylor too. You know that tore that pro. That's why Art Briles is not there now.
Right.
That's why he's coaching high school football at this moment. Probably one of the best coaches at the time.
And why his son still ain't got a head coaching job. All the work that he's done.
Yeah.
Kendall should have been got a job by now. Kendall should have been had a job by now.
You know, I'm listening to what being the point that he made. I mean, when you got access, sometimes you have access to things, you know, and those things 7 years later can come back and bite you.
Yep.
You know. And again, like Damian say, hey, I mean, when you rolling, if you really want to know what somebody think about you, start losing.
There you go. you need to pin that. You need to pin that.
I used to tell my coaches, man, look, you want to know what your coaches. I used to tell other head coach, if you want to know what your coaches think about you, start losing.
Start losing.
I'm gonna find exactly what they think about you. So. When it's rolling, and sometimes you have access to things that you probably shouldn't have access to, and there's no statute of limitation on that access. So,
right, I'm with you, man. I just what comes to the light when it comes to that stuff. Comes out the dark, comes to the light, as they say. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, man, look.
But no, hold on. But I got a question. But what kills me is how people can take a certain thing. And they had the information right there, and they'll take it and they'll run with it like a whole nother way. Like people went all the way to say that the man was a pervert and a pedophile. I was like, wait a minute now.
Nah, I'm not gonna say he ain't.
Like, but I'm just saying, like, like, damn, where we get that from? Like, what we get out of all the information we got? What we going there with that? I'm like, man, but
I don't know. I'm not gonna look. Look,
people run with it, boy. I tell you.
I'm not gonna say people gonna run with it. I'm just gonna say is that whatever the allegations are, they are very, very seriously. I mean, we very, very serious. We know what they are, but we gotta. That's why I'm very, very tiptoeing about what I say about this subject.
That's why I was speaking in generalities.
Right, I appreciate that because that's Hey, Dave. Sean says we're gonna put your comment on a T-shirt, like Shaq say. We're gonna put your comment on a T-shirt.
That's right. If you want to know what they think about you, start losing.
Start losing. Hey, put it on a T-shirt.
Underdog, put that on a T-shirt. And as Shaq would say. But man, I think that's a very wild situation, and I'm really, really nervous about speaking about some of the things that I've heard. Yeah, when it comes to that, so I'm not going to put that. I'm not going. Bernard Williams is not going to come out here and say what he heard and what he thinks he knows. I'm just going to say, man, I hope the best for all, and especially for the people that were victimized that was involved. Just risk the best for them. Now, well. Let's talk a little bit about Mr. Rush Probst, who just never seem to keep his damn name out of the
can't stop.
Out of the damn thing.
Look, hold on. And what did it say? Can't stop. Won't stop. Take that. Rush gonna pop up every 3-4 years with some boy. I swear.
Hey man, hold on. We being interrupted. Hold on 1 second. What do you want?
Man,
you are not that special that you can drive and talk.
Don't do that. I am on the road right now. Coming from Coosa County.
We didn't ask your whereabouts. What do you want? We are talking about rush
probably
ropes.
my audio sounds terrible from y'all. So
you fine. We hear you clearly, sir. We hear you clearly, sir.
Oh, this is terrible. Cause I definitely had a opinion about the LSU stuff, but can y'all understand anything I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, we fine.
Okay, so let me just throw this out there so I can get this on tape.
Oh God.
Oh God. See, we had slid off of it.
I tried to get on right before you were talking about Les Miles and Jeff Long. Jeff Long knew about the stuff that happened. So in my opinion, so did the people down at LSU. Okay, there's no again. I know government people. There's no way that the government down there trying to do a Title IX investigation for no reason. They're not going to waste any money. That's why I've been saying this, and my source within the program has been saying this for a long period of time, that this is really, really, really big. Now, however, I got two other, LSU friends that don't think it's that big. From what I'm being told, it's pretty big. LSU knew something because, of course, guys, they tried to hide it.
Yeah, that's why I say they buried that.
Mm-hmm. No, I can hear y'all now. So is it to the Baylor extent? I don't think so. But to me, you can probably compare these to the same type deal. Baylor probably was often the worst because they kept denying. Some of the LSU officials are no longer there at the school, so that's the reason why I don't think LSU probably won't nothing too bad happen to them. But something's going to happen. I'm not saying Orgeron's going to get fired, but something's going to happen. Reduced scholarships, something's going to happen. Now, we all said something was going to happen to the basketball coach, but nothing happened to the basketball coach after he was on tape and been paying players. So you never know. But this is kind of serious. The government is involved with Title IX. It should be taken as a serious issue. It shouldn't be swept under the rug. I mean, I'm glad that they're doing something now. I mean, this has been known for a long time, but nobody done nothing. So,
like you said, how long ago was Geis? That was what? That's been because Geis was in the league for like 3-4 years.
Because rightful less because Gus been there for how long? Like 7 years, 8 years. So Gus was there for 7 years. And that game when they fired Les right after the LSU Auburn game. So what? So that was like 3 years ago.
That was 2017.
Yeah, so that was like 3 years ago that happened, that had occurred, but that it had been occurring for a long period of time. They turned the blind eye to me. That young lady was in line, and it's a pattern of you hiding and trying to protect Les. You try to protect guys. You try to protect the whole bunch of players. I mean, LSU's not totally innocent in this. I'm just glad Kansas recognized what was going on, took care of it. Jeff Long obviously knew something was going on because he got canned as soon as Les got canned. I mean,
but the Kansas part though is kind of like, yeah, they took action, but I mean, they really weren't winning with Les either. So
I mean, it's Kansas.
Because like we said earlier, if Les had somehow managed to take them to a bowl game, win 6 or 7 games while he was there, would they have acted so quick? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, you know what? Hey, we already ain't doing nothing with him, so let's just go on here and make sure we get ourselves as far away from this situation as possible, as quickly as possible.
But let's be real at the same time. It's still Kansas football. You can't get no worse than what you can get. I mean, you're terrible. I mean,
but like Damian said, winning cures all. I mean, they may have stood by him to a certain degree if he hadn't been able to deliver while he was there.
Okay, but if you say winning cures things, it didn't cure anything at LSU because obviously he was winning more LSU than he is at Kansas.
But I think the point that Ben is trying to make is that no, it didn't cure it, but at the same time, it took 7, 8 years for it to come out. Something they was trying to sort of cover up.
And Kansas just ran away from it, like, yo, look, we already ain't getting nothing from this shit. Hey, man.
I mean, but that's the thing, though. They knew about it. It wasn't 7 years. They'd been knowing. She reported this like what 8, 9 years ago. That's
okay.
That's
7 years, 7 years, 8 years for the uninformed public to know. But even on a Kansas level, like I'm gonna put it to you like this, and I know Kansas not winning, but I'm not standing by him. Even if he did take me to a bowl,
no,
you shouldn't.
I ain't standing by him. I ain't standing by Long. If you heard his press conference and his questions, he didn't know what the hell was going on. I mean, he didn't know how to answer it without incriminating himself.
Right.
But let's move on. We don't talk enough about Les for a minute. We can talk enough about them. That's a whole different subject.
Yeah.
Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this before we have to. Since Chauncey out here in the elements got our sound all messed up.
We finna mute Chauncey.
Yeah, we finna mute Chauncey. It's like, yeah, because he bothered me.
See, I'm riding now.
Right. Had to mute him for a second because all I hear is car. Rush Probst. I hope he has zero plans on coming back to Alabama. I hope he plans on retiring somewhere. I hope he don't plan to go to Alabama, Georgia. He might well just go to Florida.
He ain't going home.
Might go to Mexico. It's one thing to make allegations, bro. Rush gave names. If you have not listened to it, first of all, okay,
it's floating around everywhere.
Oh no, it's on YouTube.
It's everywhere.
So the actual 14-minute audio, it's on YouTube. And for those that don't know, he talked about, really his program. He's talking to the president of the Booster Club. He's talking about his program and how basically he can attract and pay and get athletes and do I'll just say unauthorized benefits. And to actually Tuck, I see you over there. You can wait a second. And then then he kind of like keeps talking about how, this is how Saban them does it. And then he talks about, this is what Georgia does, and kind of like goes in depth and mentions other people's name that,
this name dropping, this dry snitching, as Shannon would say.
If you ain't on camera, you can't be talking, sir. You can't be talking. I'm just playing. But he goes on to drop names. I'm talking about like he could have just left it at like this is how it worked. No, I would drop individual names of people and tell you what side of the state they got, who he contact, who the bag man is, and we used to call it, since everybody want to call Auburn with a bag man, and was very transparent about a lot of stuff. However, it's very, very telling that you can tell he's not knowing he's being taped. I have 50-50 feelings about the tape, not because I don't believe anything that's on it. It's just like, well, why is this really coming out? It's only two of you in the room. So who's doing the recording? Who's doing this? Like, it's just a lot of questions I have coming out. So Dave, I'll let you start first, and then we'll kind of go around on it because I know you kind of heard and you've heard clips of it. What are your thoughts on it?
I'm like you. I have an even bigger question. Basically, why is he being recorded? I mean, what are you going to use his information for? Who's doing the recording? And
why was it leaked?
And why is it leaked? I feel like this. If you go so far to record it, then I think that was your purpose, was to leak it in the beginning. But to back up a second, first of all, Rush Probst, he's probably the most incredible. His credibility as a witness is like zero.
Zero. None.
But I will say,
don't y'all do him like that.
I will say this.
Why not?
I don't want Rush Probst to be a character witness for me ever. Okay. But I will say this. He ain't lying. You cannot. The stuff that he was talking about is not stuff that I can just sit in my basement and make up. You know, he's dropping names. He's talking about, and then you can just tell in the inflections of his voice, like you said, Renard, he didn't know he was being recorded. I mean, he's just sitting around having a conversation, probably with one of his whoever the guy is. Seemed like he's pretty close to him. I think he was a booster of the high school or something like that.
Yeah, I think he's the president of the booster club, but for that high school.
I mean, I'm just thinking about myself. If I was president of the booster club, but I'm just talking to the head coach of the high school football team, man, we just having a conversation. This man has no idea that he's being recorded about the things that he's saying. So, is there truth to it? I think it's absolutely the truth. Will it go anywhere? I want to say no, because he just has that perception that, you know, that's Rush Pro, man. He's crazy. He been crazy since 1997, man. Let it go. You know, that's kind of what it is.
Did he have a second family support? That is a yes, and that was in his Hoover days.
Supposedly. Oh,
no, that's confirmed. That was when he was in Birmingham at Hoover. Yeah, that was
right.
That was pretty much confirmed. Ben, I'm gonna let you get a few minutes. I know we gonna be on this topic for a few minutes. So not because it's so bombshell, but it's bombshell because people are so shocked by it. And
I think mine is twofold. And one is because although I get it, he was talking to somebody he was cool with, or he assumed he was cool with, or whatever. But in 2020, 2021, 2019, whenever it is, whenever you're talking to somebody like that, you got to always in the back of your mind kind of assume that any of this could actually come out at some point. So you always got to move. You always got to move a certain way, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? You always got to move a certain way.
Hey, but let me ask you a question. I got a question for you. I mean, I'm serious. I'm asking because for what you said, and that's very, very true. Right. But my question to you is: do you think, or do any of y'all think, that this was all a setup that Rush is trying to just act like he's being recorded? Because it's only him and the president of that booster. So what does this president of the booster club get out of recording him?
I mean,
that's my question.
How old is it? And I guess that's the other question. How old is it? Because again, we don't know how old or how far back it is. So to Dave's point, in yours, what does a person have to gain from releasing this? Well, I mean,
they got a lot to gain from it.
He come.
Well, you know, he's passionate about this.
I mean, we know that even Pat Dye said every school's not lily white, you know, but there's nothing to gain from recording. Is the NCAA going to investigate it? No. I mean, that's just hearsay. Until they got proof like they did in Tennessee, they ain't going to do nothing. I mean, we all know that. But did you address that comment in the family about the second family?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did y'all say? Because I ran out of service.
I said yes.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't want to make sure.
I said yes. That was in Hoover, but yes, yes. Yes.
Okay. Because that was proven.
Yes, that was proven and all the other stuff. Yes.
Because Pat Junkins is a Benjamin Russell Wildcat, and Rush was talking to a former vice principal of Benjamin Russell High School. Just want to throw that out there.
See, I didn't need all that.
I just got to throw out the facts.
You gonna get us? We gonna get no media pass. Can't hold it water.
Fooling around with you.
I'm just saying. I just throw out facts. But anywho, but you know, like I said, Rush. Like I heard was Dave say I would not have Rush be my character witness. Boy, he ain't never lied. Look, I worked with Rush and all them back in Hoover days, and Rush was a good guy, but I think the spotlight got way too much for Rush. You know what I'm saying? I think it went over. He got too above his means. You know what I'm saying? He had a good thing in Hoover. He got caught. It is what it is. He went to Colquitt County, headbutted a kid, did too much. I think he wound up. What was the school that he was at last time?
It was Valdosta, wasn't it?
Valdosta. You know, and then he was about to. And I think you said about if he ever come to Alabama, he's going to be in trouble. He was about to come back to Alabama, but the school in Kusada, it didn't pan out.
I about to say one of that they just tried to do the IMG type thing. Is that what it was?
It's about to be
right.
the American football school,
or something like that. Right.
And it just didn't, everything just didn't pan out. I mean, like I said, could Rush probably have set this up and become the world's greatest actor? Yeah,
possibly.
Yeah, I can see that. But something tells me this was not staged. So I think the person recording it knew about it. I mean, they knew what they were doing, but I don't think Rush was in on it. Because
hold on, Tuck. I know you driving, and I don't know if you can see it now. Arian said a great point. Arian said, I think he knew because the guy was kind of coaching him along.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I agree. Because that's why I'm about to say he tried. He could have acted this out. That's why I'm like you, Renard. I'm like 50-50 on this. But like I said, it's nothing. Rush gains nothing from this. Period.
But you know something, Tuck? We talked about it before you came on. And Dave made a valid point. Like, you know, when you look at this situation, it's kind of like, okay, it's Rush. You know, we won't want him as characteristics and all that. But at the same time, a lot of people are going to poo-poo off what he said and just use it as fluff or because it's their favorite team or whatever. He just talking, he's sour grapes, whatever. And a lot of people are going to do that and not actually listen to what he said and take it as what it is, even though it's things that we all know. I mean, we all know that this stuff happens. But
he has nothing against to gain from telling on Georgia or telling on Alabama, because to me, how everything set up, when he was at Hoover, he was more pro Alabama than anybody. Just like Prattville was more pro Alabama than anybody. Most of the high schools in Alabama, when Nick Saban first got here, Nick Saban went and got one of the. Speaking of Benjamin Russell, he went and got Willie Carl Martin to be his head high school person in high school relationships and relations or whatever. So that's why I say I really don't see how he could mess himself up. I mean, try to get gain anything out of this. That's why I'm saying that's the part that makes me believe he didn't know what was going on. But however, like Aaron said, the way some of those questions were set up and how he was answering those questions, you could think he was being coached.
He was naming names.
Yeah.
And he was being very specific.
And that's the part that kills me. It's like he could have just said, "Oh yeah, they're doing it." He got his guys that's doing it. That's
and live it bait.
He was like, "No, I'm not going to say the names. He got X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
over here on the west side of the state, saying he got it from Mobile to Allenville all the way up to North Alabama."
Hey, let me tell you, and some of them names, we'll talk about this all there, but some of them names,
that ain't what you want. That ain't what you want. And for him to say Hugh Naw, I'm like, I thought Hugh Naw was somewhere retired, sitting down. And I'm
no.
Hugh Naw, you need to go sit down too. But hey, bag man. I will say this. Let's just bring it all back in. You know, 50s and 60s, we've been knowing this is happening for 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, where we are now. This is not new. It's not anything new. Which I think is funny that when I see another school get put on probation, other schools want to talk noise and make fun of it.
Like that school get clean.
That's one of the best statements that Pat Dye ever said. God rest his soul. Pat Dye said, ain't no school around here lily white. He said, ain't no schools around here lily white. Now, that's just the truth. You ain't lily white where you trying to be or not to be. We talked about before the infractions, the minor infractions that were reported every year. They're reported, but they're not on the, I think they call it level 1, level 2. I think that's big infractions, but they're not those type of. It's kind of be like, well, I called a recruit at 9:15. Well, it was in the period where you couldn't call a recruit after 9. It'd be stuff like that, but ain't no program lily white.
Look right now. We don't even have to go that far back. Renaud, think about it right now. Look at what's going on in Tennessee. Look at what's going on to a certain degree in Florida. I mean, Dan can't talk to a kid personally for a year?
Yeah.
Jimbo got jammed up. down there in Texas, ain't it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, so even though, like you said, they are the minor infractions and things, but if you think for the average person, if you think that those minor things are the only thing that these schools are doing, come on, man. Stop playing yourself, man.
And here's the thing, and I want to get Dave input on this too. Here's the issue. You know, we know this goes on and it always has and kind of always will be, regardless if it's big, whether it's money, whether it's whatever, whether it's families, whatever it is. Right. This all ties into the fact we have name, image, and likeness that's getting ready to come. Okay. And this is
talking about the wild west.
This is the fear of the NCAA. Pat, I'm not putting that up there. Not saying I don't know that, but I'm not putting it up there. However, this is why the NCAA is so talking about give us a couple of years, because it's going to be some restrictions. And then if somebody can get paid off their likeness now, what do you think is going to actually happen when it's somewhat legal? And I think that's the fear. The fear is just like it's going to become like, hey, all these age, all y'all gonna get together and y'all gonna get this and y'all gonna get this package. Because I'm telling you right now, y'all heard the man $90,000 to $150,000 just to sign your name on the dotted line. Like, that ain't what's gonna happen when they can really get a chunk of these 3-4 billion that they're generating every year. You know what I'm saying? Once the game come out, you're gonna get a check from the game. You're gonna be able to do all these other little smaller things. Yes, there will be regulations to it, but to me, I don't know. I want the kids to get paid, but I'm scared of where it's gonna go to. Like, what do you feel about that, Dave?
Go ahead, Dave.
Hold on. Could Dave be quiet for a minute? I want him to pop in.
Yeah. I mean, I think name, image, and likeness is giving boosters a set of rules or a roadmap to follow.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's like, we don't legalize marijuana. We know it's out there. You get put in jail for it.
We know y'all smoking it.
We know y'all smoking it. We know you like it. So I think that the name, image, and likeness, I think it's just gonna basically implode, man. I think there's gonna be a way for boosters to be able to funnel money to kids. And I ain't hating. You know, hey, we got an event coming up. We need you to sign a couple T-shirts. Here, then the other. Here goes some money. You know what I mean? So I think it's just a way to kind of legalize what's already happening, but create some rules. And as long as you stay within those boundaries, you'll be okay.
And you know, it's been a. Hold up, I'm sorry, Ben. I apologize. Go ahead, Ben. It's on you.
I was gonna say, and that's exactly what I was gonna go with it, Dave. Like, we know what's going on. Let's put something in place to where it's out for, like we always say, you want people to be themselves and put it out there in front for everybody to see. And you made a perfect point, Dave. That's exactly how it's gonna go. Like, hey, I'm having an event at this bar. I need you to come sign a couple T-shirts. XYZ is coming. The star quarterback is coming. He gonna sign 100 T-shirts. Blah 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 blah. They're gonna pay him whatever they're gonna pay him, and that's gonna be there. And to me, I think that in the long run, although there's still going to be a little bit more the Wild Wild West type atmosphere, I think this still will regulate it better than the quote unquote hidden bag, man, or you have situations like that was going on at Louisville, even though it was basketball, but what was going on at Louisville where you had the other kid who got jammed up that was paying the strippers and setting everything up. Meanwhile, you got other people in the background like, man, I ain't know what he was doing. You're right. You know what I'm saying? This is going to make things more, bring it all together and put it more out front, which to me, I think is fine.
I think I'm going to hold because I've listened to a lot of lawyers and a lot of people that have really, really been deep in college football. I like to listen to them and see what their thoughts on this. And I'm going to be interested to see what the actual legislation is. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it that they're trying to allow? How are they trying to allow it?
How much?
How much are you trying to, and really what are the rules of the game? Because what are the real rules of the game? Because you already talking about schools like LA and UCLA and USC, because of proximity to certain other things are going to blow up because you're around entertainment and you're getting them into that. There's all this other stuff that may or may not go on, but I think it's going to be interesting to see what the legislation is going to be. I'm going to tell you this. I think it's going to be a lot more stricter than what people think it's going to be. That doesn't mean the rules not going to be broken, but I think it's going to be a lot stricter than what people think it'd be. I think it's going to be a very touch and go thing at first, until people can really get a hold of it. And I see that Senator Tuck is chomping at the bit to go ahead and talk. I concede my time to Senator Tuck.
Oh, hold on. Before you talk, Tuck, y'all just saw across the bottom line, the XFL and the CFL is talking about partnership.
Well, you're a little late there, Ben.
It's probably on the bottom line. I'm sorry, sir. My bad.
No. It popped up this morning, Ben. I paid no attention to Tuck.
I would like for the representative of JO to catch up with the times.
Damn, I'm gonna come hours
and give him an alert to let him know that
I got bleacher
at 3:00 today. And
it's that damn Android.
I know that representative from JO needs to get an Apple device.
No, we're not starting that tonight. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, so thank you, representative from Gaston.
Wait a minute. Why you get to be a senator and I get to be a representative?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hold on one damn minute.
I'm sorry. The gentleman from Gaston. I'm sorry.
I appreciate it. Whatever.
I appreciate
Moving on. Let's get to your point.
But yes, I saw something the other day that was to combat what we're talking about as far as the image likeness and all that stuff. For example, somebody brought up Georgia Tech. What's that?
Yeah.
Somebody brought up Georgia Tech and Auburn. Georgia Tech Auburn would not be able to. Georgia would not be able to. Georgia Tech would not be able to compete with Auburn. It started, let's say, with 4 stars and pretty high 3 stars. So, what if this likeness gets available and they start promoting kids in the city of Atlanta?
Yep.
And they start getting their likeness and they start getting these game checks because the city of Atlanta has way more money, way more exposure and TV money than the city of Auburn does, town of Auburn does. I mean, that's probably what's going to be some of these benefits to some of these schools that's in these bigger cities, and they're going to be able to pay them more money. So
that's exactly what I was just talking about, the whole LA and everything that they were talking about.
Think about Miami. Like, man,
I'd rather not.
Miami might be on a different level. Miami, they might push something else.
Exactly. They're going to push a lot.
Hey, Dave, Ben ain't got to worry about Clemson. Dave ain't got to worry. I mean, Ben ain't got to worry about Clemson, South Carolina no more.
Hell no. Miami gonna goddamn.
Luke might be down. Luke gonna have him signed up, boy.
Bruh.
Go ahead, Minister Tuck. You had the floor, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you. But yes, that's all I had. I was just, if this does pass, or something like this passes, it's just more than a video game. And to go a little further, because we haven't talked in about a couple of weeks, but I really don't understand these schools coming out saying that they are not going to, that they're not going to be able to participate in the EA Sports game. I'm like, well, bro, we don't even know what the rule is.
Clarify what they said.
They weren't
your school said, your school is in Notre Dame said they weren't going to. There was another school that said it, but Notre Dame was started the big thing. They basically end up saying that, until they know exactly the details of the NIL, that they were pulling their name out, which is dumb because NCAA is actually waiting on the details of the NIL to actually bring out the game by 2023. So,
right, yeah, but
it was a dumbass statement. But
right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm just trying to figure out why make a statement. The game is 2 or 3 years away from them anyway. What was the point of the statements that these schools have been making? I mean, it don't make any sense. So you're already telling me, oh, if we're just gonna wait and see. Duh, that's what we.
Everybody gotta wait and see.
Everybody gotta wait and see. That was just stupid to me, and I digress. That's all I got.
Dave, you got anything else on this, sir? You think you got something?
No. I don't have nothing else on it, man. I was kind of thinking though, just with them making that statement, would that affect recruiting anyway?
100. You already know.
Yeah, but that's all I had.
I would say this, and then we're gonna get ready to wrap it up. We know it's been an hour. I know we ain't been on a couple of weeks, but it's. I'm gonna tell you this, man. This is the time in college football where ain't nothing gonna be the same. You cannot, and I said it last year when we was dealing with COVID season. I'm telling you now, with this NIL, with this game coming back out, with the possibility of Power 5 breaking away from the NCAA, which will 9 times out of 10 is going to happen in the next couple of years. Football, as you know it, is not going to be the same. And it's going to be a lot to talk about. A lot of things you know about. It's not going to be the same anymore, man. Like, you might as well just go on and buckle up for the wild west, because guess what's getting ready to get voted on? The transfer rule. The one-time transfer rule is getting ready to be voted on. Well, a kid gets upset, and he can say, "The hell with it, I'm finna go." I'm not going to talk about. I'm not going to bring that person's name up. That transfer, but basically was that reason. Like, I'm upset, and I'm finna go. And you're gonna get all this, and all that's gonna happen. I just hope that everybody at some point gets some money. The third string punter. I hope he ain't, sitting back there behind.
Right. Still got just love his scholarship.
Which he will. It's gonna happen. DJ from Clemson, or if Trevor was still there, or whoever, they gonna get the shine. So that's the legislation I gotta find out they're gonna do. Is it gonna be even across the board that you still gotta deal with Title IX? You still got all these other things you gotta make sure, but it's gonna be a headache. It's gonna be a big headache.
Sure.
Yep.
Before we go, people, y'all see that YouTube down there? So Down South Football Podcast. Y'all don't want us to go in for another 2 weeks of awesome content? Hit the like and hit the subscribe button. Tell a friend, tell another friend, tag a friend, and tell a friend, so we can continue to bring more content to y'all, man, and have a lot of things that are actually in the works that we'll roll out to y'all soon. But we don't want to keep y'all over an hour. We already stepped over a little bit. We'll be back soon, I promise you, with some more content and some more shows and some big ideas we want to run past everybody. But y'all need to be checking our Twitter. Y'all need to be checking our Facebook page. We are going to do a March Madness contest under Down South Football Podcast. So if y'all want to join, if y'all want to fill out a bracket, I think Ben's going to kind of be in charge of getting that together. Just something fun that we can do interactive, so we can talk about. We'll talk about prizes. We'll talk about everything, but we'll send out a post on all our social media platforms. So we'll let y'all know how that go. But if ain't nothing else, man, this is your boy Renard Williams. Y'all can follow me on Twitter at Renard D. Williams. Make sure y'all follow the show at DSL Podcast, and make sure you like and subscribe on the YouTube channel, Down South Football Podcast. Ben?
Yeah, man. Just make sure, man, you holler at me. I am DJ Double Dose. But yeah, we're gonna do a show, little bracket, ESPN joint. Probably gonna be like a $5 buy-in, but we're gonna make the post and we're gonna put it out there for everybody. That way, because look, when you're playing for free, you don't give a shit. But when you're playing for a couple dollars, you care just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna put it out there, man. We're gonna make the post probably. I'll probably do it tomorrow in the morning, and get it out there for everybody, man. Because I think they selecting on Sunday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's always selection Sunday.
Yeah, so it'll be on Sunday. So we'll get that up and get that going for y'all on. We'll get it going.
Dave?
Hey man, I just want to say glad to be back. I'm excited. I'm actually looking forward to this season. Especially, this white season. I'm very intrigued about some of the games that's coming down the pipeline in the next couple of weeks, man. But again, I just enjoyed myself tonight. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Again, you can follow me at the Garden 205 on Twitter. Of course, on Facebook it's just Dave, and on Instagram I think it's DL Gardner as well. But man, we just appreciate y'all rocking out with us tonight, man.
We appreciate y'all,
Aaron,
man.
we got you, man. We got you, Aaron. We got you.
Aaron, calm down. I got you, dog. We got some stuff coming. Somebody sent me a message, asked us about what we're gonna be doing the draft live again this year. So that's something that'll be in the works. But just keep rocking with us, man. We got more coming. So, like I said, y'all see the Cash App, y'all see the Down South Football Podcast, YouTube. Subscribe. Tell a friend to subscribe. But if there's nothing else, man, we're gonna get up out of here. We appreciate y'all, like you said, rocking with us again, and we'll be back. Maybe in the next couple of days. You just never know. You never know how news gonna break. We'll holler at y'all soon, man. We out.